I'm always starting with these statements. I keep hearing these statements with young people. One of the statements I keep hearing is, Uncle, I got so offended. I got so hurt. Let me just make a statement right in the beginning. Make a statement right in the beginning. A humble person can never be offended. It's only the proud who gets offended. I'll say that again. A humble person can never get offended. It's the proud that gets offended. Now, why does a humble person never gets offended? Never gets offended because when somebody says something, if there is truth to it, they will take it. If there is no truth to it, they will throw it. If there is truth to it, they will take it. If there is no truth to it, they will just throw it and they will just say, hey, that's not true. I will just go it. That's the place of humble security. That humble security is what this verse talks about. Very beautifully it talks about. Proverbs 29 verse 23. 29:23. A man's pride will bring him low, but a humble spirit will obtain honor. A humble spirit will obtain honor. It's not talking about humility. It's not talking about act of humility. It's not talking about external humility. I behave like this, or I walk and I say, oh, it's okay, I'm a very humble person. I wear very toned clothes and all of that. And not that kind of an humility. That kind of an humility, I don't know. I don't want to comment on it, but is it genuine? I don't know. But here it talks about a humble spirit. Deep inside, I'm humble. Sometimes I've seen some of my young people, outside they sound proud or they look proud, but deep inside they're very humble people. When you talk to them, get to know them, you will know. I said, oh, they make some strong statements, big statements, and they're very loud and all of that, but they are the most humble people that I have seen. Amazing. Humility, the humble spirit will always be very, very, very calm, very restful. It's the proud who kind of show off, the proud who kind of, clings all the bells and makes all that noise and says, hey, this is who I am, and you know who I am, what I am, and you hear me, you see me, and all of that. Remember this, every time, sometimes I get offended with my own wife, and sometimes I would sit back and I would just say, did I get offended because there's some pride in me? I was proud, because if I'm really of a humble spirit, I will never get offended. I will never get offended. It's the proud who gets offended. Young people, your Heavenly Father is always there for you to help you. See, He came down to our level. He sent His only Son, Jesus, to die on that cross for us. Oh my goodness, that's a big act of humility. He could have and He was born in a manger. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lord of all kings, and the King of all lords, the sovereign, omniscient, omnipotent God, being born in a manger among donkeys and cows and goats and sheep, and oh my goodness. His act of humility. Our Heavenly Father is humble, and that's why we reflect Him. In our own places, meaning with our friends. Humility, I want to close with this. Humility first has to be exhibited inside the four walls of our house, not on the roads. I know you must be saying, inside the house is the most difficult. They all overtake me, overpower me, they all climb on me. And I understand that. But the first test of humility, the place where you have to absolutely apply, absolutely live humility, is inside the four walls of the house. If your closest family members say you're humble, that's it. Because that's the most difficult place. Remember, your Heavenly Father will help you, will help me in that journey of humility. Remember, I love the second part of this verse that says, a person who is humble spirit will obtain honor. He's not seeking honor. He's not going behind honor. He will obtain honor. There are people who will lift him up and put him in that place. Today it's all about proving yourself, man. You have to show off how good you are, how much money you are, what generation you're from, and what's your background, whom you know, the last thing that you show off. Man, I'm sorry. You might go on for some time, but on a longer run, it may not work out. Let's check ourselves. I'm not saying check yourself. Let's check ourselves of whether we are of a humble spirit. Remember, your Heavenly Father portrayed humility.